I'm just back from the MOT and it's so nearly passed. There's not even an advisory on it anywhere, just one single fail. It's technically a major defect, but in reality, it's a 5-minute fix. Back of the sill, where it kind of wraps around on itself, I didn't notice it this morning, should have had a better look. There's a 10p sized hole, literally that kind of size. On the bracing part, so it's not even really that structural. So all I'm gonna have to do is very quickly just buzz it over with an angle grinder, plate a bit over the top of it, and I've got myself a pass in the morning on the free retest. So I am really happy with that. I'm disappointed with myself for not spotting it in the first place. I should have had a better look. But on the other hand though, it passed brakes, it passed emissions. The windscreen wiper, which is slightly falling off, didn't fall off on the test. I can just quickly tighten that up again now. Everything worked fine, it didn't disgrace itself. Amazing. Right, let's get working. Now, annoyingly, this is right by the jacking point. It's immediately behind it, so I'm going to jack it up and then put the what do you call it? And put the ramp onto the tyre. So, with a block of wood under the wheel in case it slips while I'm doing this, I really wish I could get the big draper jacks out from underneath the Rover. So the car is supported on the block of wood and under that rear cross member. So hopefully it's okay to do a bit of work under there now. So this is the hole. Here's here's the jacking. Whoops, I can't make my finger. Here's the jacking point. Here's the suspension mount. Here's a little hole. So I'll just grind this back, plate a little bit over it, and that will be okay, the guy said, to pass. And just because I'm paranoid, I've also put this jack. It's not actually taking any weight, but I've just raised it up to level with the rear, what do you call it, links, just in case anything does slip or fall. The jack will have the weight regardless. It's not taking any weight, it's just touching. So this little kind of curved rhomboid shape will fit perfectly over that little hole, which I've now ground back. Off camera, I have covered everything in zinc oxide paint to make it not rust, and I've disconnected the battery. You don't need to see everything, less is more sometimes. Now I'll go and grab the welder. That's just kind of roughly held in by luck, really. It'll be pressed in tighter when I start welding in a minute. Okay. Little light, can't see a thing. Oh, to put my sleeves down like an idiot. Let's try and be less on fire. So, I was just letting this off the jack and there was a crunching noise and the entire jacking point moved in a bit, so I'm going to have to take this trim piece off and go from there. I've just looked online and there's all just clips, hundreds of clips behind here, and it will just pop off and go back on very expensively. Oh yeah, that's crusty. Not good. Not good at all. Now I've managed to get these trim clips out. Some survived, most haven't. I'll probably just use some windscreen sealant to bung it on again, because this is cheap car challenge. I did think maybe I could just kind of patch this with some gook inside there to try and just hide it, but I couldn't in good conscience sell the car on again in a week or so's time, knowing it's got holes in it. Now this is actually a bit of a mess. We've got a hole here, and a hole here. So basically, as it gets dark now, I'm going to go crazy with the grinder, get all the rust out by grinding it off, and then plate over it. Fortunately, it's all hidden under this cosmetic sill, so it doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to stick to the car. I might turn the camera off now because it's raining and don't want to spoil the camera. This is quite a lot more than the 10p size hole I started out doing. It's 8:30 and it's finally done. I've been out here in the rain. It stopped raining at last, but it was absolutely hammering down for the last 2 hours. So welding in the rain, awful lot of no fun whatsoever. Well, here we go. MOT test, take 2. After last night's epic weldathon, where I originally plated up the 10p sized hole and then spent a long time plating up the much bigger hole, which is actually completely hidden by the plastic trim, so my welding wasn't the neatest I've ever done, and I didn't really spend a lot of time tidying up afterwards because it was dark and rainy and cold. It's more important, I thought, to just get the trim back on and get it painted over before it rusted, rather than trying to make it pretty, because it's going to be behind plastic trim the rest of its life anyway. So fingers crossed that won't come to the attention of the MOT tester. He won't even see it because it's hidden. My welding will be good enough to get through an MOT. The electrics seem all to be good still. Nothing has broken overnight. The driver's side wiper was slightly loose. It was working, but if you tapped the passenger one to make it go, I think the mechanism might need to be re-greased perhaps. Yeah, if you tapped it to make it go, sometimes the driver's one would stay put, which isn't great. But this thing drives really well. I mean, it's only a 1.6, but it really is quite nice. The chassis feels quite stiff, but at the same time it's quite a pleasant ride as well. There's a bit of creaking from the trim. I don't know if it's the leather creaking on itself or if it's the plastics in the doors or whatever. When the cosmetic side trim came off the car, I read up about it on the Owners Club. There's no easy way of taking that side trim off. You have to just undo the end clips with a screwdriver and then just unclip it, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. About half of mine survived, so the thing's not going to fall off, but I used some Sikaflex car window adhesive to glue it on where it wasn't sticking on, so it doesn't fall off, because apparently a full set of clips from Hyundai is 35 quid. Well, guess what? It only went a blooming past. Hooray! So yes, so now no advisories, no nothing. I've just driven out the garage, so I better tax this thing. Let's go and take it for a little drive. So there you have it. We now have a fully functioning 2001 Generation 2 Hyundai Coupe SE 1.6 with slightly smelly air conditioning. The engine is smooth, the gears are light. I'll do a full review on this next week probably, like a proper actually walk around the car and give you all the details of the thing. The only thing that's really an issue is that the tyres feel a bit like they're flat spotted, because as I hit at 40 miles an hour, there's a kind of a thing going on. But actually it's not as bad as it was yesterday when I took it for the MOT first time, when it's far more pronounced. I think just a couple of miles driving has softened the rubber a little bit, taking the flat spots out, and they're getting a bit, that drumming noise is going, which is good. This is actually rather a pleasant car to drive. The steering's got quite a nice little weight to it, and the engine's got not too intrusive tone. The ride's quite nice. It kind of flows over bumps quite comfortably. Feels fairly taut. It feels like a coupe should feel. Not an out-and-out sports car that's bone-jarringly harsh, but just comfortable, but with a bit of sportiness attached. I'm going to drive this car as much as I can this week to get any more niggles that are known about out of it. And I'll check the battery voltage in a moment when I get back home. So in conclusion, I think I was astonishingly fortunate with this car, because I had three major fixes that all kind of happened basically for free. Yes, I didn't have to buy any sensors, didn't have to buy a new mass airflow meter or a crank position sensor and fit that, because that was just a low battery. I didn't have to take the entire wiper mechanism apart. I mean, if I can get into there and get some grease on that in the next few days, that would certainly be beneficial. And I didn't have to buy a new alternator. Well, I haven't done yet, because I'm pretty sure that was just binding or dirty, and with use that is coming back, and it certainly feels like it's getting a good charge, because everything's working correctly, the car is still firing up instantly. It's all good, really. I think I've been extremely fortunate. I was unlucky with the rust, but I knew there was a rust issue on the car, just a different rust issue on the car when I bought it. So, and the fact that the MOT guy didn't notice or comment that I'd had it apart to do way more welding than he told me to is a positive. So hopefully whoever buys this car off me in the future won't have a big rust spot growing back there, but I don't know, I can't promise anything. I'm not a great welder, so if you do buy this car from me in the near future, then I'll just say I'm sorry. But if you do buy this car, you'll get a good car that might need a small amount of welding on the rear sill. If you've enjoyed this series, then thank you, and please do hit the like and subscribe buttons and share it with a friend, because it makes a huge difference to this channel and my ability to put more stuff out. So next instalments for this car will be Friday, heading off for the MPG challenge, Saturday, the Santa Pod challenge, and then the third challenge, which I don't want to do anymore, the selling the car challenge. That will be the hardest one by far. Joseph, why have you set me this impossible task? I don't want to sell this car, it's really nice. It's got leather and aircon, an electric aerial. It's pillarless and they work. Both my Mark 1 MR2 and the Tomcat came to me with broken pillarless windows. You will certainly see the rear arches being tidied up, and you'll certainly see an actual review of a Gen 2 Hyundai Coupe, just so you can get a feel for what this thing is that I've bought, because they're not that common on the roads anymore, not these versions anyway. Bad news, everybody, my free fix is no longer free. First of all, sorry for the last section in the car being really dark. I knocked the exposure compensation dial while I was getting out the car, so it just knocked it down 2 stops. And you can't tell on this camera because there's no way of flipping the screen around to see what it's actually doing. So sorry about the darkness. Actual bad news, took this car for a drive out yesterday and it started coughing and spluttering like it was down on power again or down on electricity again. Tested the thing and it was down to 10.5 volts. Tested the alternator at the plug, that was only putting out 10.5 volts, which means that although it was improving briefly, it's now not improving at all, and it's definitely broken. So while you're watching this morning, I'm going to be scrolling around trying to find the best deal on an alternator I can find to fit this tonight, so that I can actually carry on driving it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you on Friday.